There is a number that old money families check before they buy anything. Not the price. Not the projected appreciation. Just one number. And if an investment does not hit it, they walk away. No exceptions. In 2008, when the housing market collapsed and the stock market cut itself in half, the families who followed this number did something strange. They did not panic. They did not sell. They bought more. And by 2012, they had doubled their income streams while everyone else was rebuilding from zero. I am going to give you that number before this video ends. But first, we need to talk about why the entire real estate versus stocks debate is designed to keep you confused. Here is what happens when you type real estate or stocks into YouTube. You get a 20-year-old in a rented Lamborghini telling you that houses are the only path to wealth. Then you get a guy in a Patagonia vest telling you that index funds beat everything because Warren Buffett said so. Both are partially right. Both are completely useless to you right now. Because here is the truth nobody wants to say out loud. The question is not real estate or stocks. The question is, what does your money need to do for you while you sleep? Old money does not pick assets based on YouTube trends. They pick assets based on a very boring, very specific job description. And once you see that job description, you will realize that you might need both, or neither, or one of them in a way that looks nothing like what the gurus teach. So in the next 10 minutes, I am going to show you exactly how generational wealth thinks about this choice. No hype. No Lamborghinis. Just the filter that has survived the Great Depression, the dot-com crash, 2008, and every recession in between. The internet has framed this as a boxing match. Real estate in one corner. Stocks in the other. Ding ding, fight. And you, the viewer, are supposed to pick a side and defend it with your life. This is a trap. It is a trap because it forces you to think like a fan instead of an owner. Komum, what is your story here? Did you once believe you had to pick a side? Did you meet someone who lost everything because they went all in on one asset? Did you personally feel this paralysis? Insert your real example or I cannot advance this section with authenticity. Here's what the data actually says. According to recent market analysis, the S&P 500 has historically returned around 10% annually, while real estate appreciation sits closer to 4% to 6% before leverage. Stocks win on raw speed. Real estate wins on stability and tax advantages like depreciation and 1031 exchanges. But here is the part that breaks the internet debate. Those numbers do not matter to old money. They are looking at something completely different. They are not asking which asset grows faster. They are asking which asset pays them to own it while they wait for it to grow. And that one shift changes everything. Transicao de reconexao. So if the debate is fake, what is the real game? It is not about the asset. It is about the income test. And that test is so simple it will make you angry. Old money families run every investment through what I call the sleep test. If they cannot explain how this asset pays them while they sleep, in one sentence, they do not buy it. Period. This is where the average investor gets it backward. You look at a stock and ask, will this go up? Old money looks at a stock and asks, will this pay me a dividend that covers my lifestyle if the price stays flat for 5 years? You look at a house and ask, what will this be worth in 10 years? Old money looks at a house and asks, will the rent from this property cover the mortgage, the taxes, the maintenance, and still mail me a check every month? COMUM. Have you applied this filter to your own investments? Did you buy something for appreciation and regret it? Or did you find a dividend stock or rental property that passed this test? I need your real story here. Without it, this section sounds like every other finance channel. The sleep test is brutal. It kills hype. It kills FOMO. It kills speculative growth stocks that pay no dividend and rental properties in markets where the math does not work. And that is exactly the point. Let me make this concrete. Say you have $50,000. You could put it into a broad market index fund. Historically, that might grow at 10% annually. But if the market drops 30% next year, your $50,000 becomes $35,000, and it pays you nothing while you wait for recovery. You are rich on paper and broke in reality. Or you could use that $50,000 as a down payment on a rental property. If the rent covers all expenses and leaves you $300 a month in cash flow, you are getting paid to wait. Even if the property value stays flat for 3 years, you have collected $10,800 in income. That is your sleep test passing. But here's the twist. Old money does not actually prefer real estate. They prefer income. And sometimes, the income comes from stocks. Real estate investment trusts, or REITs, have averaged about 12.3% annual returns over the past 25 years and are required by law to distribute at least 90% of their taxable income as dividends. So the filter is not real estate. The filter is income. And now you are probably wondering, if the filter is that simple, why does anyone mess this up? Because of leverage. And leverage is where old money separates itself from the wannabes. Punto de alivio. Quick cut to you pouring coffee. No talking. Just the sound of the pour. Then back to camera. Transitao de reconexiao. You might think old money avoids debt. They do not. They use it as a weapon. But they use it completely differently than the guy on TikTok telling you to leverage 10 rental properties by age 30. Let me destroy a myth. Old money does not avoid mortgages. They avoid bad math. The average real estate guru tells you to put 20% down, let tenants pay the mortgage, and rinse and repeat. Build a portfolio. Scale to freedom. What they do not show you is the spreadsheet when 3 tenants leave at once, the roof needs $15,000, and the bank still wants its payment on the first of the month. Old money uses leverage, but they use it inside a cage. The cage is called cash reserves. Before they take on a single dollar of debt, they know exactly how many months they can survive with zero income. For most generational wealth families, that number is not 3 months. It is not 6 months. It is 18 to 24 months of liquid reserves. Comum, what is your leverage story? Have you been over-leveraged? Have you seen someone go under? Or did you find a safer way to use debt? This section dies without your personal angle. This is why old money survived 2008. It was not because they were geniuses. It was because they had cash when everyone else had cash flow. Cash flow is monthly. Cash is permanent. When the market froze and banks stopped lending, the families with 2 years of reserves bought distressed properties for 40 cents on the dollar. The leveraged investors handed the keys back to the bank. The same rule applies to stocks. Margin debt is the stock market version of a rental property mortgage. It sounds smart until the market drops 20% and your broker sells your positions at the bottom to cover the loan. Old money does not use margin. They use cash. They wait. And when blood is in the streets, they buy. So if the sleep test filters the asset, and the cash reserve rule controls the debt, what is the actual number? What is the rule that ties real estate and stocks together? Punto de alivio. You look at the camera, hold up a finger. I know. You have been waiting for this. Here it comes. Transacao de Reconexão. I told you at the start that old money checks one number before every investment. You have waited long enough. It is time to give you the number, the math, and exactly how to use it tomorrow morning. The number is 6%. Old money calls it different things. Some call it the floor. Some call it the covenant. I call it the line in the sand. Here's how it works. Before old money deploys capital into any asset, real estate or stocks, they ask one question. Will this investment, after all expenses and taxes, put 6% of the deployed capital back into my pocket every year in cash? Not appreciation. Not hypothetical future value. Cash. Income. Money that hits the account whether the market is up, down, or on fire. If the answer is yes, they consider it. If the answer is no, they wait. Let me show you the math with real estate. You find a property for $300,000. You put 20% down, so $60,000. With closing costs, call it $65,000 total out of pocket. The property rents for $2,500 a month. After mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and a vacancy reserve, you net $400 a month. That is $4,800 a year. Divide that by your $65,000 invested. That is 7.4%. The 6% covenant is passed. Old money buys. Now stocks. You find a dividend stock or REIT yielding 5%. You think, close but not 6%. Old money waits. Or they find one yielding 6.5% with a 20-year history of raising that dividend every single year. They buy and never look at the stock price again. Because the 6% is not a suggestion. It is the minimum acceptable rent they charge their own money for the privilege of being invested. This is why old money does not panic in crashes. If their real estate still rents and their stocks still pay dividends, the 6% keeps coming. They do not need to sell at the bottom to eat. They do not need to refinance in a panic. They are getting paid to own the asset. And because they only buy assets that pass the covenant, they can hold forever. The 6% covenant also solves the real estate versus stocks debate for you personally. Run the math on both. Whichever one clears 6% cash on cash, after all real costs, is where you put your money. Sometimes that is a rental property. Sometimes that is a boring utility stock. Sometimes it is a REIT. Sometimes it is nothing, and you sit in cash until something qualifies. That last part is what separates you from the crowd. Most people feel like they have to be invested all the time. Old money feels like they have to be paid all the time. If nothing pays 6%, they wait. And while they wait, they stack cash reserves. So when the next crash comes, and assets are suddenly yielding 8%, 9%, 10%, they are the only ones with money to buy. That is the secret. It is not the asset. It is the standard. If this filter just rewired how you think about investing, here's what I want you to do. Do not hit subscribe. Do not hit like yet. Instead, go watch the video on your screen right now where I break down exactly how I built my own sleep test portfolio step by step. It is the companion to this video, and if you understood the 6% covenant, that next video will show you where to find these assets in the current market. Click it. I will see you there. Stop picking sides. Start picking income. See you in the next one.